That one, Dave. Thank you. Meantime, an inmate who walked away from work release and was wanted on a long list of alleged charges is back behind bars, so you can rest easy now. We told you about Zachary White, though, on your screen. He went by the nickname Tankzilla. He was convicted of robbery out of Potawatomi County. He failed to report back to the Council Bluffs Residential Correctional Facility as required last Friday. He was involved in a shooting last weekend and was arrested upon his release from the hospital. There is much more to this story. You can head to firstalerts6.com for additional coverage.